The greedy brother's betrayal. We grew up under the same roof, two brothers who shared everything. We ate from the same plate, wore clothes from the same cupboard, and studied under the same lamp late into the night. Neighbors admired us and often said, "These two aren't just brothers, they're one soul in two bodies." For years that was true, but fate has a cruel way of testing love, and sometimes the test comes in the form of greed. When our father passed away, grief filled every corner of the house. Relatives gathered, mourning his loss with heavy words. But their eyes carried a different weight, the kind that looked past the coffin and straight at the property he had left behind. Among them stood my elder brother Hamza. He spoke with the authority of a man who had just been crowned. He acted as if father's death had passed him a crown, a throne, and a kingdom. Days after the funeral, Hamza gathered everyone in the living room. The chandeliers above us cast shadows that made his face look sharper, harder. His voice was calm, almost rehearsed. As the elder son, he declared, "Everything falls under my name. It's the house, the land, the accounts father trusted. Me alone." He turned to point at me, his eyes cold, not him. I tried to protest. My words trembled, but I forced them out. "Brother, this isn't right. Father loved us equally." He never. Hamza slammed his fist on the table, the sound cutting through the air like a whip. "Love doesn't matter. Power does." And just like that, the world shifted. From that day forward, I wasn't treated like family anymore. Wife sneered at me in the hallways, whispering insults under her breath. Cousins mocked me openly. The bedroom I had once shared was stripped away, and I was given a small corner space that smelled of dust and despair. At dinner one evening, Hamza raised his glass and said loudly, "Why should we feed a burden? A man should stand on his own." Feet. The table erupted in laughter. My face burned with humiliation. That night, I packed a bag and walked away. I found a single room in the old quarter of the city, the kind of place no one would ever want to call home. Ceiling leaked when it rained, and the walls reeked of dampness. I found work at a small garage, hands greasy with oil and sweat by day, eyes aching under a dim bulb by night as I studied and tried to piece my life back together. Sometimes I would pass by our old mansion. Lights glowed from the windows, cars gleamed in the driveway. Hamza had become a king in my absence, and me. I was nothing but a shadow, but I remembered father's last words, whispered on his deathbed, when his breath was shallow and his eyes were tired. "Son, silence is not weakness. Sometimes silence is the strongest weapon. Wait for the right time." Those words became my anchor. I stayed quiet. Months passed, and Hamza grew richer, bolder. He threw lavish parties where laughter echoed into the night. Relatives praised him, called him capable and responsible, while they whispered behind my back that I was worthless, a man who couldn't even keep his father's respect. Hamza spread lies with ease. He told people I was lazy, careless, unworthy of trust. Slowly, people began to believe him. I endured it all in silence, but truth, like the sun, always finds a way to rise. One evening, as I was closing the garage, my phone rang. A calm voice on the other end asked, "Is this Ahmed?" "Yes," I replied cautiously. "This is Mr. Harris, your father's lawyer. I need you to come to my office. Your father left something important for you." My heart froze. Could it be? The next morning, I sat in his office, the smell of polished wood filling my senses. Mr. Harris slid a sealed envelope across the desk toward me. "Your father instructed me to give this to you and only you," he said softly. With trembling hands, I opened it. Inside was a letter, along with several documents. My father's handwriting stared back at me. "My son Ahmed, if you are reading this, it means your brother has chosen greed over love. I feared this day would come. That is why I secretly placed the property, the land, and the business shares under your name. You're the rightful heir. Do not seek revenge and anger. Seek justice and dignity." Tears blurred my eyes. I clutched the papers as if they were life itself. Father hadn't abandoned me. He had known all along. He had prepared for this. The very next evening, Hamza hosted another grand dinner at the mansion. Music played, wine flowed, and relatives praised him. As the perfect son, I walked in quietly, holding the file close to my chest. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. Dozens of eyes turned to me. Hamza's face twisted in disgust. "What are you doing here?" he spat. "You don't belong in this house anymore." I stepped forward, my voice calm but steady. "Actually, brother, this house belongs to me." Gasps echoed through the room. Hamza let out a cruel laugh. "You've finally gone mad." I placed the legal documents on the table. The laughter died instantly. Seals, signatures, every detail was there. Mr. Harris walked in behind me, his voice firm as he confirmed, "These documents prove Ahmed is the rightful heir. The estate, the land, the shares all belong to him. Hamza, you have no legal authority." The hall erupted in whispers. Hamza's face turned pale, his confidence crumbling like dust. He shouted, denied, threatened, but the papers were undeniable. Relatives who once clung to his side avoided his gaze. His wife sat frozen, her pride shattered. The empire he had, built on lies, collapsed in seconds. I looked at him, the brother I once loved more than myself. "This was never about property," I said softly, but every word cut like a blade. "It was about betrayal. You lost not because of me, but because of your own greed." For the first time, Hamza had no words. His mouth opened, then closed, his body trembling with the weight of his own downfall. I didn't gloat, didn't raise my voice. I simply walked into Father's old study, placed the letter back on his desk, and whispered to the silence of the room, "You were right, Father. Silence was my strength." From that day onward, the mansion echoed with a different kind of sound. Laughter returned, respect returned, dignity returned. Hamza left in shame, his shadow trailing behind him. And I, once the forgotten son, humiliated and cast aside, became not just the heir of property, but the heir of Father's true legacy. Because sometimes revenge doesn't come with swords or screams. Sometimes revenge is patience. Sometimes revenge is silence. Sometimes revenge is simply the truth, waiting for the right moment to rise.